Billiards is a category of games played on a billiard table. There are all kinds of different ways to play, such as 8-ball, 9-ball, carom, bumper pool, and snooker, but every game involves holding a cue and hitting a cue ball to strike object balls. To set up for a shot, hold the bottom of the cue, called the butt, with your dominant hand. Place your non-dominant hand, called your bridge hand, 2 to 4 inches, 5 to 10 centimeters, below the ferrule, which is the white portion underneath the tip of the cue. Turn to face the table at a roughly 150-degree angle and spread your feet to be slightly longer than shoulder length apart. Place your head over the cue and line the top half of the cue, called a shaft, up with your dominant eye. Place the tip of the cue behind the cue ball and set up your bridge hand. There are 2 ways to set your bridge hand up: open and closed. For an open bridge, place your palm flat against the table with the cue between your thumb and index finger. Straighten your forefingers and raise them at an angle to raise the pads of your fingers and the top of your palm off of the table. Keep your thumb taut against the side of your index finger and use the groove between the thumb and index finger to steady the cue. For a closed bridge, place your thumb against the felt and curve your index finger on top of your middle finger to make a round opening. Slide your cue through that opening and use it to stabilize your shot. To shoot, look at the cue ball to see where you want to hit it, and then line the cue up with the object ball you're shooting at. While you take practice strokes, move your eyes back and forth between the object ball and the cue ball. Where you hit the cue ball will determine the spin, or English, that goes on the cue ball. Hitting the bottom half of the ball will create backspin, so the ball will draw back after it hits the object ball. Hitting the top will cause it to roll forward, and hitting the sides will impart spin. For most shots, hitting center ball is the best way to maintain control of the cue ball. When you execute your shot, the only part of your body that should be moving is your forearm. Treat your elbow like a hinge and keep your head as still as possible. In general, the harder you hit the cue ball, the more difficult it will be to sink the object ball. However, the softer you hit the cue ball, the more likely it will be for the cue ball to drift off course as it rolls over specks of dust on the table. Aim to sink most shots at pocket speed, which is slightly more than the minimum amount of speed to sink a shot. Billiards is all about consistency and repetition, so keep practicing and use the same stroke every time you shoot to improve over time.